Ah, very wise.
So we can take it clear back to when we were sucking on a pacifier, when we were little kids turning in our diapers. You know, what came to us, and what has continually shown up in our life. Let's pay attention. Let's research the aspects of this animal, plant or mineral, whatever it is, because totems are not necessarily just animals.
Okay. Well, in my life, I've had different animals seem to hang around for a while and then move on, and then it's another one. So I don't know. Is it possible to have more than one animal totem?
Oh, absolutely. What we want to look at is what are our primary totems? What are the ones that revolve around us regularly? And there's usually, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 of them. And then we have those sort of more casual totems that sort of fleet in and out of our life, and we sort of need to pay attention to it. Even as a matter of fact, just this morning when I showed up at my cabin I'm hosting some film crew this weekend, and when I got in there, a mouse had been in there last night and chewed open some stuff, and I just happened to start talking about mouse medicine and how so many people misinterpret, even though mice are vermin, and I really don't like them personally. They do have attributes that are beneficial to us. Now, when a mouse comes into your...
cute.
Yeah, they're so cute. But when they come into your cabinet and they eat a little bit out of this box of cereal, a little bit out of this spice box, and a little bit out of this thing, and they've tainted all of your goods, you go, oh, my God, I hate these creatures. But what the mouse is teaching us when it's nibbling on all those little bits and things that are ruining all your goods that you want to eat, number one, we're learning that mice are vermin, but also it's communicating to us to say, if you take little bites here and little bites here and don't try to take great big gobs, you might get through life a little bit easier. How many times have we tried to bite off more than we could chew, get ourselves in trouble when we should have been taking little bites to get us to our destination?
Wow, that is beautiful, Leyton. My goodness. Perfect timing, too. It is that time. We're going to be right back after this short break. Leyton Cougar on Truth Brigade Radio. All right, welcome back. Thanks so much for joining us here tonight. Truth Brigade on AmericanFreedomRadio.com. If you would like to join us for the text chat tonight, that's over at truthbrigade.com. And if you have any questions or comments, don't be shy. Give us a call at 402-237-2525. We are here with the Wolf Daddy himself of Wild Spirit Wolf Sanctuary. WildSpiritWolfSanctuary.org is the website, and don't forget to vote for them on the Pepsi Challenge, and because you have a lot of help. I mean, speaking of the mice, Leyton, you kind of have bitten off quite a bit.
Yeah, I have, and that's why that mouse had to remind me this morning, because one of my mentors and teachers for years have said, mouse medicine, come on, Leyton, mouse medicine, practice, and I'm like, I don't want to. I want to bite off a whole big bunch. But I do tend to bite off large chunks and keep myself completely and utterly overwhelmed. And I feel an urgency. I feel the need to save animals and stand up on a big fat soapbox and scream bloody murder at these idiots who are hurting the people I love most, and those are my canine cousins. We need to stop torturing animals. We need to stop putting animals on chains and on dirt and on concrete and not giving them food and water and shelter and love and tenderness and care that they need. I just feel like if a person can't take care of a dog, don't even think about getting a wild animal. It just drives me nuts.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And you have a lot going on there, lots of animals to feed. People are calling you literally from all over the country, Alaska, etc. You have people volunteering all over the world. Of course, we have that Pepsi challenge. I give out that link again, is refresheverything.com/wild spirit. It'll take you right to you could vote for them right there. But what are other ways that people can help?
Well, other ways, like I was telling, I think you call it Chris, it's just share, write letters. The thing that anyone can do, if you are literate, if you have a pen and a paper, you must also then have a favorite talk show host, a favorite radio host, a favorite TV host, a favorite magazine, or many of the above. Write to those people and say this. Have you heard of Wild Spirit Wolf Sanctuary? Have you seen what people are doing in New Mexico? Can you believe the hard-working, dedicated crew of people who are saving lives every single day? If you don't, pay attention to them. Call Leyton, put them on the radio, get them on TV, write an article about them. That is how you can help. Anyone can write a letter. So write a letter, personalize it to the editor, and say, you need to check out these people. I want to be on every radio station across the country. I want to be on every famous talk show there is on television. I want to be in every magazine that there is, not because of me, because I need a soapbox to stand on to help people understand we got to stop doing this to our loved ones, the canines. I don't understand. I really feel like somewhere, Christie, there's a sentence. I haven't found the sentence yet, but the sentence is something about how can we say that the dog is man's best friend, and at the same time torture it in backyards and torture all of its wild cousins and try to kill or exterminate all of its wild cousins. How can we say those things at the same time?
Absolutely. I totally agree. I mean, and we just did a show the other night with Jeffrey Mason. He's written 26 books, 9 of them about the emotional lives of animals. And we were talking about dogs, and wolves came up. And, I mean, I don't know about you, but for me, I mean, there's all this arguing over who or what God is. But if God was something that we could conceive in a physical form, I happen to think dog is definitely that dog would get my vote.
Well, they have that's what's just so shocking to me. In every culture on planet Earth, dogs are a part of it. And in every culture on planet Earth, dogs are being tortured. So I don't get it. Why do we love them, and why do people torment them at the same time? I've got this producer friend who creates a show called Animal Hoarders, and the horror I see on his show of what people are doing in the name of love. We had an animal hoarder just up the road from me. She was arrested and had 92 counts of animal cruelty. 70 of those animals were executed, while only a handful were left alive. And she came to me after the whole event of being taken to jail and having the animals confiscated, and I saw her up on the reservation, and she said, "Well, Leyton, I guess compassion is a crime." And I said, "No, compassion is not a crime. Hoarding and starving animals to death is a crime." There's a huge difference. You've got to get it through your head what the difference is. And now, I made her cry, but I also made her laugh, and we had a good conversation. It lasted a couple hours, because I didn't want to leave it with me being pissed off at her, but the fact was I was. She allowed 92 dogs to die. Well, I'm sorry, 70 dogs to die, but she was slowly killing all of them in the name of love. She didn't have running water. She didn't have electricity. She didn't have money for food, but yet she continued to collect and to collect and to collect dogs and think it's just fine and dandy that they're starving to death. And she said, "Well, but I love them." No, you don't. You don't understand the concept of love, because love is caring. Love is compassion and understanding and fulfilling the needs of the thing you love. It's not hoarding and allowing them to starve to death over time. It's not.
Yeah, I mean, then what is the answer? I mean, the fact is, I mean, you've had to take in quite a few dogs.
Yeah,
running
I'm overwhelmed.
wild and, you know, I mean, it happens. And, you know, so what do you do when the alternative is an animal shelter that's going to euthanize them?
You know, it is such a tough dilemma because, honestly, in all truth of the matter, there are too many canines in the United States of America that are uncared for. There are not enough humans to care for all the canines. So what do? We can't just have them in large pens running around barking at everything all day long, and we shouldn't be killing them all day long. But what is the solution? I don't have the solution. I have to admit that euthanasia is very often the only solution, as long as we're doing it peacefully, calmly, and humanely. Because there are.
What about letting them run around wild?
What's that?
I mean, what about running around wild? Or
running around. If we let dogs run around wild,
themselves.
Well, and I see wild dogs every single day of my life living on this reservation. And they're emaciated, they're filled with worms, they're filled with ticks, they don't have any vaccines, so they live a horrible, miserable life. Nobody wants to live like that, and no one should live like that. You know, and then where do I draw the line? When do I say I can't rescue you, but I can rescue you? And
yeah.
You know, and I go through this, you know, I got this plea. I had people emailing me and calling me daily for several days in a row because this beautiful white wolf dog was going to be executed in Valencia County, and they said, "You can't let this happen, Wolf Daddy. You're the Wolf Daddy. You can't let it happen." I'm like, "Well, I can't save them all, but I will save this one, just because everybody's bugging me." And he's so beautiful, he's so sweet, and he's so gentle, and he should be 90 pounds, and he weighs 40 pounds on the dot. This poor bag of bones. And so why did I rescue him? I rescued him because this poor bag of bones needed somebody to give him food. It needed someone to give him love. And then, of course, 2 days later, that same place calls and says, "Oh, we have another one. Why don't you save this one too?" And I had to say, no, I can't. But fortunately, a friend of mine did and got that animal a great home. But there are happy stories and there are very sad stories. I mean, right now I've got 14 rescue dogs. Aside from my therapy pack that you met, I have 14 extra dogs. And we're doing a big adoption on Saturday, and we'll be doing another big adoption in a few more days. And these guys will get great homes. But it's just so sad that they just keep coming. There's no end. It's an assembly line of needy canines. So what do?
Wow.
I beg
so
for money. That's what I do. I beg for money
Saturday.
and What's that?
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Go ahead, please.
I just say, what do? I beg for money from everywhere I can, and I ask people to spay and neuter as often as they, you know, and that's the big problem. That's really the ultimate problem, is that people just simply don't spay and neuter their animals. They simply ignore that idea, and that would solve a lot of our problems with these canines. But what were you saying?
I was just, you mentioned that you're having an adoption on Saturday, and there was somebody on the text chat, I guess, that's going to be there Saturday and donating stuff to the sanctuary. So, I mean, let's say there's someone else in the area or somebody driving through on a road trip, or however they end up in your beautiful sanctuary in the high desert of New Mexico. What are things that you need? I mean, you're hooked up pretty well as far as meat with the local hunters and butchers and such. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
what other types of items would be of use?
Yeah, well, food we definitely have covered. You know, truly, at this point, we have so much already covered here at the sanctuary. For the animals that live here, they're so well equipped. What we really need are more resources, more, not just money, but sometimes stuff. You know, like I just was so grateful. I've been begging for a backhoe for 10 years, and someone finally donated us the money to buy a backhoe, which is so needy. But what we really need is big stuff. I need housing for my volunteers. I need plumbing. I need thousands of feet of piping in the ground so we can have water throughout our entire 88 acres when we only have it, and actually, as you know, in just really a very limited places, because our volunteers have to carry water buckets for nearly a quarter mile uphill just to water some of the animals at the higher elevations of our facility. So I need another well. There's $20,000 right off the bat as another well. I need just better amenities. I need restrooms for my guests. So some of those things that are great. But for the animals themselves,
yes.
We really are, and I'm so grateful. And it's taken a long time to get here. But right now, the animals, as far as food, shelter, water, supplements, vet care, we're pretty well doing good in the sense that all those things are covered. I would say vet care. Money towards vet care is super important because we actually have had a lot of vet visits just in the last couple of weeks with some emergencies that we've had here on site with some of the wolves and dogs. So, helping us pay our bills are something that people can help us with. But as far as other little stuff, I've got hundreds of leashes, and I've got all those things that the dogs need this way, but the sanctuary itself needs, buildings finished being built. Our educational center needs, we need to be able to finish it. That's $100,000. Nothing's cheap these days, but we need more fencing in some locations around the sanctuary. My dream is to build the doggiest friendly campground in the United States of America. We have a beautiful 40-acre campground, and I want to just get it all prettied up so when people come and bring their dogs, there's a nice big kennel for them to run around in, and that the campground is surrounded by a fence so that their animals don't run off if they have that kind of an animal. I want to just really do it up sweet and be able to provide a wonderful, beautiful place for people to come camp out, bring their canine, and also learn about wolves and wolf dogs and the dilemmas of owning wild animals, as well as just learning about nature, the wild, and how our ecosystem works and how important wolves and other animals are to that ecosystem.
All right. Very well, Leyton. It's that time again, though, but wildspiritwolfsanctuary.org is the website. We will be right back. Truth Brigade Radio. Thanks so much for joining us here tonight. Truth Brigade on AmericanFreedomRadio.com. Thanks so much for streaming our show with Leyton Cougar, the wolf daddy of Wild Spirit Wolf Sanctuary. And again, the website is wildspiritwolfsanctuary.org. And I posted some links of all of the beautiful angels. I don't even like calling them animals because it's kind of demeaning, but these beautiful angels, wolf spirits at the sanctuary. It's wildspiritwolfsanctuary.org, and don't forget to vote for them. And what is this, a Pepsi Refresh project? They're trying to give away money. So Wild Spirit Wolf Sanctuary, please cast your vote for them. You can go to refresheverything.com/wildspirit. And, here was a question in the chat earlier, Leyton. One of the chatters wanted to know, is this true or is this a myth? I heard when I was young that wolves get rid of fleas by picking up a large stick in their mouth and jumping in a body of water. Then they lower their bodies so that more and more is underwater. As the fleas move up to keep from drowning, they eventually jump onto the stick. The wolves let go of the stick, and voila, no fleas.
Wow.
I
have never heard anything like that. Although I can easily imagine their intellect and the ability to do that. But although a lot of fleas will still hold on even when we give our own dogs a bath, and so they can actually retreat to areas where they don't have to let go. But if that was indeed true, which it potentially could be, it would be another example of of an animal using a tool. The stick would be the tool, wouldn't it? And the wolves have shown us often that they actually do use tools sometimes. So, that would be really cool. If I knew that was true, I'd say, yeah, jump right on it and say, yeah, that's true. But I don't know that factually at all. But I do know that here in New Mexico at our high elevation, the no-see-ums, those little tiny black gnats that drive everybody insane, the wolves definitely will retreat underground in their dens or into the water to get those gnats to leave them alone. So they're pretty resourceful beasts, but I've never heard that.
Okay. It sounds pretty logical, though, huh?
Yeah. I mean, I can give nature. Nature is amazing, and all those critters that live in it have figured ways to adapt. And so I can even believe that there's vegetation that fleas don't like too much that the wolves will be rolling in and trying to get the fleas off. But yeah, nature is wonderful, and it all knows what it's doing, so it could be very possible. Yeah, so we just need to get our hands out of it. Yeah, we do, but we can't forget. It's perfect. Yeah, we just can't forget that humans are also a part of nature, in spite of the fact that so many feel apart from it. We can't avoid the fact that we were created just like everything else that lives here, and we were created here on planet Earth for a purpose, and I do believe that our purpose is to be caretakers of the Earth. Unfortunately, too many humans forget that. Yeah, absolutely. Let me ask a couple. You know what? I don't think we have time for these questions. So let me ask you this, Leyton. In your path and all you've learned, specifically running the wolf sanctuary, what have you learned that you never would have, how has it changed your life? And what would you like us to know about what you learned in your adventure running the wolf sanctuary and making those beautiful relationships? Wow. It's changed my life dramatically. I had no clue. I had no inkling. I had no desire. I did not know that this was going to be a part of my life. And I can tell you it would be a conversation to answer that question, but I can tell you that I have learned that that nature always finds a way, and that animals are no more spiritual than human beings, just sometimes more spiritual than some human beings. But we are all here doing an earth walk. And we all should be paying attention to what our path is and not trying to jump over onto somebody else's path. And don't think that someone else or some other thing is far more spiritual than you are. I get annoyed when people say, oh, wolves, they're just so spiritual. Yes, but we are too. So we can be just as spiritual. Mm-hmm. Don't try to make somebody else more spiritual than yourself. Get in tune with yourself. And don't try to tell that this culture over here is far more spiritual than we are. No, we can only look at that from individual to individual. And somehow, some way, the wolves have infected my being to the point where I absolutely, positively eat, sleep, and live saving their lives. And my vacation, just like it was for you, is sitting in with Stormy and Savannah. Just sitting in with Stormy and Savannah and just absorbing their love for me and their wolf spirit and their power and their beauty and their gentleness and their sweetness and all those things that come in those packages. That's my best vacation. So I want people to join me in my adventure. I know they can't do it like I do, but join me through our website and through my YouTube site. I make videos so people can live vicariously through me. So people can experience my life and those beautiful animals that surround me through those videos, and then come and take a vacation and hang out with wolves and stay in our campground or something, because it's a great place to just come and recharge.
I totally agree. It's one of the best things I've ever done in my life. And, you know, it looks like my co-host Christie is back just in time to say goodbye. So, say goodbye. No?
No, I am so disappointed. We had cable go out here. I tried to reset the modem, and it didn't want to come back on until just now. But I'm going to have to catch the archive because this was absolutely fascinating.
Oh,
well, let's just do it again.
Leyton, thank you. Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you so much for being here tonight and sharing your time, your wisdom with us. I can't wait to have you back and talk more in depth about the animal totems and spirits. Thank you all for being here tonight. Abundant blessings and love to all. We will see you tomorrow night. Truth Brigade Radio.